Ryan Roberts here with Coach Wirth of Covington Catholic. Coach, you guys are coming off a 10-3 season despite a bunch of injuries. How do you think going through that adversity helps you coming into this season?
Well, I think any time as a team, be it us or the teams that are on our schedule or any of the other teams in the area, you go through a bunch of adversity and you come out on the other end of it, and you were able to somehow maybe manufacture some success and get some guys some experience and have them go through those ups and downs of those first few varsity snaps, especially as young guys, and take them from timid to confident. I think that weighs in your favor. So I've had a couple people ask me about this, and my usual response is we were unfortunate last year to be in that position, and at this point going into this year, we're fortunate to have those kids with that experience under their belt coming back.
Offensively, you lose some great players from last year's team. Talk about some of the returning players that you're expecting big things from and how your offense will roll this year.
Well, first and foremost, the offense is going to revolve around the two athletic quarterbacks that we have, with Adam Wagner, senior, who was out for 9, almost 10 games last year with a knee injury, and Ben Dressman, who played most of the year. We didn't obviously anticipate playing much. So much of the offense will revolve around those two and what they can do. They're both phenomenal athletes. They can make a heck of a lot of plays with their feet, and if people are overly concerned about that and really jam the box, they're more than adequate passers. They might not be Blake Burr, but they're still very good passers with an awful lot of weapons in the perimeter this year, the most we've ever had to get the ball to. So it's going to be fun to work that out. Snap by snap, who knows how that's going to play out in terms of who's playing quarterback, or who's playing running back, or who's in the slot. I know this: they both can be standing in the backfield, and one of them's a left-handed quarterback and one of them's a right-handed quarterback. So that'll make for some interesting things, most likely. So those two guys are going to be the crux of the offense. We've returned Ben Darlington at running back, who got a lot of hard carries last year as a sophomore early on when Luke Burr was out. Luke Burr and Adam Wagner were out from the end of the first quarter against Dixie, our second game, all the way up until we were in the playoffs. And then poor Luke gets it again against Highlands at halftime after having a pretty good half. So Ben got a lot of snaps last year, and they're really valuable. He's got very good speed. He's a very, very physical runner, he makes good cuts, and he's really good in pass protection. So we have a good feel about that in the backfield. On the perimeter, we got a lot of guys to make some plays. It all starts with our senior wide receivers, what we call our two mix, Logan McDowell and Lee McClure. Both those guys were on the 4x100 team that finished runner-up this year in state by a hundredth of a second. They'll be joined by senior Jake Erpenbeck, who won the 100 meters in state, who's really coming along as a wide receiver and not just a speed guy. Mitchell Rensing, another senior wide receiver that we have, that got a lot of experience last year and a lot of reps. So between those four guys, just as seniors, we're in really good shape. But then you go and you add a mix of underclassmen to them, led by Ryan McGinnis, who had a lot of catches and yards last year, and a handful of other guys, and we're in pretty good shape there on the perimeter.
Moving over to the defensive side of the ball, you lose Sam Burchell. Talk about how your defense is going to work this year without him, and who you're expecting to step up to fill the voids left by the departing seniors.
Okay. Well, unfortunately last year, unfortunately for us this year, similar to some of the other stuff, we got used to that post-Sam Burchell world of defense here at Covcath. I mean, he didn't play up until the fourth game last year. Then he was out a few in the middle of the year, and then was in and out at the end. So, you never replace a guy like that with one player. We just don't have anybody that's that big, that physical, that smart, that fast, and has that kind of passion and knowledge of the game. He was extraordinary in every single way, hence the reason why he won the That's My Boy award with Andrew Way. But we got a couple linebackers I think they're going to be very good, led by Cameron Pitzer, who played every single snap last year, played all 13 games as a tall, lanky, undersized, but very scrappy sophomore. In fact, he led the team in tackles, had 80 tackles, 2 interceptions, a couple forced fumbles, some recoveries. He's just a really, really nice player. He's very, very consistent. And this year he's a little bigger, a little faster, a little stronger, so I think he's going to be every bit of 6'3", 195 pounds, and knows the defense in and out. So at the linebacking core, he's certainly going to be the anchor. We got a couple other young guys that are going to be juniors that are a little bit more that short, squatty, athletic type, with Ethan Sammons and Lucas Timmerman at inside linebacker, along with another senior, Mason Webster, who's more of an outside linebacker, and an underclassman named Alex Shelton, who's pressing to get a lot of time this year. That's an outside linebacker, a sophomore.
Looking at your schedule, talk about the strengths and weaknesses of this year's team and how you think the schedule will help prepare you for a playoff run.
Well, one of the things we always try and do is we always try and create a challenging schedule. Something that Covcath has always done, whether or not it was under Coach Ray or Coach Rodenberg or even Coach Brossert or myself. It's kind of the expectation and the norm here, and we embrace it. So, we're starting the year with Boone County, who of course was winless last year, but that's a very scary, first game, when you're going against a team that has an awful lot to prove in their second year under a new coach. And then you had some other dynamics of that situation, and it makes it even more interesting. So, that's going to be a challenging game in the opener. Coach was so successful with all the stuff he did down at Bowling Green that I'm sure some of that's going to start to pay off for them this year. And then we got Dixie, who's been very, very good the last few years, who I would say was extremely good last year. And I imagine will probably be the same this year when they're led by Drew Moore, who I personally believe is about the best athlete in the area and one of the harder kids to defend. He really gives you fits. A great high school football player, and certainly well coached. And then we go into Moeller, Henderson County, Highlands, Beechwood, Ryle. So for us, that's kind of murderer's row. Whether or not it's a gigantic school from Ohio, like Moeller, or a smaller school from Kentucky, like Beechwood. Or you go next, you got Henderson County, which is the 5th biggest school in the state. Ryle, who is always big and physical, and they're going to have a new coach and do new things. So we got our work cut out for us with the schedule. We end with Harrison, Holmes, and Connor, and I know Harrison County had some younger players who were really, really good. I'm sure they'll be much better in district. I'm very happy that Holmes doesn't have Jonathan Scruggs anymore. I might actually sleep during the Holmes week a little bit this year. I haven't while he's been there, but I'm sure they're going to have someone step up and fill the void for him. They always do. And then Connor is always a very, very tough, very well-coached, scrappy team. And, I'll be curious to see how they look in their post-Drew Barker era.
Lastly, Coach, what are expectations for this year's team, and what do you have to do to be successful?
Well, expectations are high. We feel like, this is certainly our year to get over the hump and make some noise and do something big. The kids feel it, the coaches feel it, I think the community feels it as well. But talk is cheap, and we've got to do that come season. We've got to put the money where the mouth is, and put one foot in front of the other, and go play games and try and play them well and execute a little bit better. I think the keys to our success are going to be number one, staying healthy, and not to continue harping on last year's lack of health, but that's every football team and every sport team in America, be it at high school level or collegiate or pro. If we stay healthy, we got enough good players that we should be able to win a lot of football games and compete with anybody that we play with. And then secondly, I think for us to be successful, we have to have great team chemistry. And third, a little bit of luck. Luck goes a long way. We get a ball or two to bounce our way over the course of the season. That can change how the entire season goes. So hopefully those things come together for us and things go our way.
Coach, good luck this year.
Thank you.